Hi, Helen. Hi, B.
Heather,
Yeah.
I've made you host. So if you want to make Valencia and Martina co-hosts, that'd be great.
Okay. Okay. Valencia, are you sharing your screen at the moment? Uh, okay. Helen, can you just go through how I do that?
Okay. If you
That's
go to participants at the bottom of the screen, or you go to the little three dots, if you can see the names,
yes.
you've got a thing there that says more.
Oh, right. Yeah. Make
Okay.
co-host. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. A lot. Thanks. Okay.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Heather, can you hear us?
I can.
Okay.
Okay, so if I go to share screen,
Yeah.
okay, will the Google Class come up on it?
As long as you've got Google Classroom open. You were sharing just now, so.
I know, but now you told me to close it, so I closed it.
Okay.
Oh, then go into.
Oh,
Go
yes.
there it is.
Okay, I've got it. Yeah, it is.
There you go. This one.
That's Zoom.
Go down.
That's the only one.
Files. No. No, it's not on this moment.
No, I can't get it now.
Okay, go. Close it. Make the screen small if you can. Just see if.
Wait, where is it? Oh, it was here somewhere. Eh?
Yeah.
Just let me minimize. Oh, you see. Where's you?
But it was open. That's what I can't understand. Google Classroom.
No. Meet. Could be.
V, you've got a button at the bottom of your screen. You've got the drop-down box at the bottom of your screen. Okay, you should have a little green box there that says share screen.
Yes, I know that, but I'm just now the Google Meet.
You won't be on Google Meet. You can't have two
Okay.
Meet programs running, but you can get into the
okay.
classroom.
Okay.
So you go back to Zoom then, eh?
Yes, yeah. So in Zoom, you click on the bottom there.
Just
That
let me
says,
open it. Now I can't get back in.
you are in already. Just
But
go
I can't
to,
get it on my actual computer. I can see your name, but it's small.
okay, on the top right-hand corner, there should be a little box with an arrow at the top. Just click on it because what it's done is it's minimized you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, now at the bottom of the screen, you will have a couple of tabs. You'll mute
Okay,
your
just
start
hold on.
video.
Just let me close this one thing. Oh, it says share.
That's it. Share screen.
Okay.
Okay, and then it says join audio.
That's it.
Must I join?
Well, if are you?
I can hear you.
I know you can hear me. We can hear you. Are you doing a presentation that's got sound on it or audio on it?
No.
Okay, so now you on a thing you say, at the bottom there, it says share screen. So if you click on that little green box with an arrow in it, the bottom, middle of your bottom, next to your chat icon,
Wait, okay.
There's one.
okay, it says share
Yeah.
screen. Okay,
Yeah.
if you click on that, it will bring up every screen that you have. So you can actually just click on it and say share screen.
I'll see, I've got a Dropbox, a Microsoft OneDrive, a Google Drive, and a box.
Okay, so you're going to go to
What
your,
am I going
you're going to go to, you haven't got Classroom open. You need to
No.
go to the screen where you have Classroom open.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I can see it, yes.
Okay, all right. Then you click on that screen.
Okay, and then it says Martina Valencia level 2
That's
coaching.
it.
We
Okay.
go on the
You can
level 2
open it.
coaching.
Now go on to level 2 coaching. Am I
That's
right?
it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, now we can't see your screen yet. For some reason, it hasn't
Oh,
shared it.
it's off. It's off.
Okay, let me just.
We will find it. Just
Okay.
a moment.
All right, not a problem.
Make this small. Then we just see.
Okay, share computer
Yeah.
sound. Oh, must I start my video, eh?
Well, if you're going to be presenting a video, when you do your video, you will need to start.
Okay.
That's it. Then we must open that.
Okay.
Open it. Put that on just to check
Okay.
that. And put the.
Yeah, that's Google Classroom. I must put on.
Can you see it now?
I can see the picture behind Valencia's head,
Okay.
Oh, and not the
not the screen.
screen. Okay, then that doesn't work.
Yes, Denver, how are you? We can see you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I want to make sure.
No problem.
V, when you go in and you, when you're trying to share the screen, you must choose the screen that you've got Google, where you can see Google Classroom, and you click on that and then say share.
Okay, wait now. Connect to do Google Drive. Shit. No. This is now challenging.
Helen,
Yeah.
sorry, it looks like Tracy is trying to get in, but I can't see her anywhere. She's just sent a message on an email to me to please unlock the meeting. So I'm not too sure. Can you see her anywhere?
No, she hasn't logged in. I don't see her on. I've sent everybody an update. They might be trying to log in on Classroom and not, I mean, on Meet and not on Zoom.
Oh. Because I sent a message through to everyone about the Zoom link. I emailed them a little bit earlier. Okay, we'll just wait. Have we now lost Valencia?
Yeah.
Shit. Helen,
Yeah.
it's still saying that the meeting is locked. Valencia and V are trying to get, Valencia and Martina are trying to get back in. Sandra is also trying to get in.
No, I haven't locked it. Just hang on. Okay, I've unlocked
Here we
it.
go. You've done something now.
Okay.
Aha, there I'm in. That's Mark Rayson. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. Put your camera on, Mark.
There we
There we go. There we go. That's much better. Julian, do the same. Julian, after you got to unlock your camera, Julian. Hello, Chris.
Yes, this is the most challenging thing I've ever done.
Always more challenging when you do it for the first time in a group and you have to do a presentation.
Oh,
Don't worry. It'll be okay.
I'm going to get there, don't worry.
It will be okay.
Russell, you're back as well.
I should have put
No.
the video on so that you can greet.
Hi, Nov.
everyone.
Okay, but yeah, that's it. Now we can see your faces.
Yeah.
Oh, Gus, can your camera not turn off?
What a welcome. Hi, guys.
Don't be cheeky.
Russell the muscle.
No,
I'll
it's
sort you out later.
easy.
Jeez, I need my glasses, otherwise I can't see the screen. Ah, Sean, you made it.
Are you muted, Sean?
Okay, hi everyone. I think it's already 6 minutes past 2 and I'm quite wary of the time for us to get through the modules. But I think I'm just going to wait another 4 minutes if you don't mind, so that those that are having a little bit of difficulty trying to get in, that we can just allow them time to do that. Is that okay with everyone? We'll start at 10 past 2.
Sounds good to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
All good.
Thanks.
Okay, all good with me. No problem.
Nice haircut there, Denver.
Yeah, just had it done today. Ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, no.
See,
Streamline.
I mean, you don't even need a cap. You can just paint the lines across your head.
Yeah, exactly.
Some zinc.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I'll make it straight. I'll make it straight lines, not round ones. Okay. So we'll
Yeah,
make sure it's the
yeah,
right
be
lines.
sharp. Be sharp about that.
She was supposed to be, but doesn't she work?
Julian need help to put his camera on. He's trying to get his camera on, Julian.
Must I run over there quickly? It's about a block away.
Then can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
How do you go about switching your camera on?
Bottom left-hand corner, Julian.
How do you get this thing sorted out?
So just click it.
Okay. I'm going to send you something.
Obviously want to see.
On the right hand side, Julian, is a camera there.
There is no audio. That's why you can't hear us. Okay, I'm just admitting 2 more, and then I think we'll start.
There you go. Julian is online. Did you get my WhatsApp?
Can you hear me?
No.
No, we can't. Okay, afternoon, everyone. I think we're going to start. If anybody does join us late, then that's also fine. We've got quite a bit to get through. Just before I hand over to Valencia and Martina, I just want to check with everybody that you have all in your Google Classroom received the introduction, module 1 and module 2. So you should be able to see all of that information in your Google Classroom now. Can you just give me a thumbs up?
Do we have to go to Google Classroom?
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Awesome. V, do you want to start?
Yeah, we can start.
Okay. Are you
Can
going to
we,
share your
everybody?
screen or do you want me to?
I think you must share it, Heather.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, we just want to welcome everybody and that. As you know, this has been a very long process, this setting up of this coach's qualification and that. And it's been going on for at least 15 years. And thank goodness that Heather came on board and started getting it really rolling out on that. So our purpose, our purpose for this program is for our coaches to get the necessary knowledge and also to play a very big role in coaching and also to be responsible for the coaching and the development of coaching and training sessions and that in alongside Life Saving South Africa. Okay. Also, we have to also get to understand the sport, because the sport is now both surf and pool, and it's a good thing that we have now joined together, and it only strengthens the sport as a whole, and that. We will go through different sessions and that. We'll go through the code of conduct. We'll go through the responsibilities of a coach. We'll go through planning of training sessions and that. And I just want to tell everybody, a lot of you are afraid with coaching and that, and a lot of us are, especially when I started, I didn't know whether I was like going to sink or swim on that, and this really helps you. And I'd also wanted to suggest that you go through your work, because I still go through the work and just pick up, and the more you go through things, especially like the long-term athlete development, the periodization and that's when you yourself just sit down and in your own time start going through the work. That's when you pick up everything. Okay, we're going to go on to the LSA Code of Conduct. Heather, do you want to share? Okay, Martina, we're going to ask Martina to take over.
Okay, I have this bit. Hi, everyone. I didn't say hello. Welcome on board. I have a bit different paper here, so I have to look what's on the screen. It's not exactly the same. But to start with, I want to inform all the coaches that it is very important to know your code of conduct, but also to know the code of conduct of the whole sport. Actually, you should be a walking encyclopedia, because the parents are asking you stuff, the competitor will ask you stuff, the lifesaver will ask you stuff, and you have to answer everything on it. Everyone is looking to a coach because they are the most important center of the whole sport. They are teaching and training and coaching, and everything they do, people are looking at. So you are an example for life saving. So that must be done positive. As a coach, you also have to monitor athletes' mental and physical well-being, because that's important. You can't train someone that's not fit enough or force someone in a position where it's sick. Facilitate and implement strategic plans and discuss it with your high performance people. You need a technical advisor. You are a technical advisor for the athletes, assist the manager, and set athlete and team goals. Goals are very important for all parties. If there's not a goal, then you are only working and have not something in your eye to go to. Then we go to the duty of care. There are quite a number of points that need to be read. You read it all, but what I put definitely as a main thing, that is maintain only such physical contact as is appropriate to age, development, gender, and the actions of the athlete. And why I say that, we all have a police clearance. And the moment a coach is inappropriate towards his athletes, the whole world will know that, because that's a very, very important part of it. We can go quickly through it. Hold the best interests of an athlete. Ensure all reasonable measures have been taken to reduce any risk. You, as coach, are the first person to check if all the risks are, if there are no dangers around. I said that one. Work within the safety guidelines and protocols as set by LSA. Life Saving South Africa is always putting that on the table, that the safety of the people is important. Ensure that you comply with the LSA, ILS, and WADA rules. Be registered as a coach with Life Saving South Africa, and you have to be in good standing, and that starts at your club, then your region, then your province. And that gives you only the benefit that if anyone requires a coach, then LSA knows that you are in good standing and will give your name to them. Be cleared against any criminal activity. And that comes back to what I said of maintain appropriate physical contact, etc. Confidentiality. Just a moment. You have to maintain the highest degree of integrity in all dealings of the athlete. It is very important that they trust you, that you will always keep their best interest in mind. All confidential information that has been entrusted to LSA by a third party must be treated the same as LSA confidential information is treated. You are not allowed to make a disclosure of any personal, private, or sensitive information. So if you know something, keep it for yourself. Don't talk around. You will come in problems. It is important for coaches to note that obligations relating to confidentiality will remain in force for the duration of your appointment. Professionalism. Just by the way, are there any questions?
No.
Nothing. Okay. Then you have to be professional. These fly-by-nights make our days very difficult. So individuals should be guided by the highest possible standards of personal integrity. You see, it comes back every time. Professional competence, sound judgment, and discretion whilst fulfilling the roles as coaches. So it means you build up a respect from your athletes towards you, from your parents towards you. Complete all relevant and necessary coach education where possible. where required be a paid up and registered member of SACA professional body for sports coaches. I believe this will come later as part of us. Coaches will maintain the professional image of Life Saving South Africa at all times. And the people are looking up to us. As I said in the beginning, a coach is the most important person in a club environment. The manager is important, but not as much as the coach. The parents are important, not as much as us. The athlete is the most important one, but is trained by a coach. So we look all up to the coach. They are present and punctual for any planned coaching session. The communication, professional and effective with everyone. They shall be dressed appropriate. They are sober. Very important. You have to stay sober. When you work, especially with kids, there's no place for anything to use. You have to be 24/7 sober and are not found in possession of any unlawful contraband, firearm, weapon, or abusive substance. Shall ensure participants are safe. Respect for children's privacy. You see, every time it comes back to what I said in the beginning, that we have to maintain only physical contact, and our police clearance must be really a police clearance that we are respectful people. An objective and fair judgment in any recommendation that you give, so that issues are never influenced by anything other than the best and proper interest of the athlete. The actions and advice will always conform to relevant LSA policies and procedures as to avoid causing an adverse effect on the human rights. They will always conduct LSA service honestly and honorably. We as coaches have to be very proud of being part of Life Saving South Africa. They take responsibility to know what LSA requires and understand the importance of complying with LSA constitution, rules and bylaws. And that is very important. People, that's what I said. You have to know all the constitutions. You have to know the rules and regulations by heart. It must be seldom that you must go back and say, oh, I wonder what is that? It happens. Still, me and me myself, sometimes we have to go back, but you have to make sure of all the rules and regulations. That's so important. Intellectual property and moral rights. LSA retains the moral rights and ownership of all intellectual property created in the process of the growth and the development of the certification. Coaches will maintain the quality of what they do through constant ongoing review. Very important. You can't stay still with what you know. You have to grow. When you pass 60, you can stop. Coaches will provide regular processed reports as will be required from time to time. It's very good to make a report because then you yourself can see if you performed, improved in your performance, because you also have to grow. You're never too old to learn. You're never too old to grow. Equality and discrimination. This is also important. In our country, we have to look after that. Coaches will strive to be fair and objective in advice given and actions taken, and are never influenced in decisions, actions, or recommendations by issues of gender and race, creed, color, age, personal disability, interest, affiliation, or loyalty. Especially the first few, gender and race. We have to look at that. We have to keep ourselves away of any racism or any discrimination whatsoever. Coaches will embrace diversity and encourage the inclusion of all participants in the planned activities of the coaching session. And then we go just on the last. Any breach to any of the above mentioned items will constitute an official disciplinary hearing, and you don't want that. So I hope you can keep you with the rules. And then we sign the code of conduct, coaches agreement, that you have to do that. You have to send that to LSA, because you have to be proud and have to work with pride. Thank you.
I just want to come in as far as this code of conduct is concerned. It's so vital, and that especially the abuse of alcohol and the substance abuse and that. If you have a group of youngsters and that, and anything happens to that youngster, you are liable for a lawsuit. You will also go in front of SASCOC, and you don't want to do that. So I think people need to be very aware of what you call them. You know, children learn from adults. So the way we behave is the way the youngsters behave. Is there any questions?
Yeah, I also just want to come in, and I'm glad you brought up that around the alcohol. Both Valencia and myself, and probably Martina, have all experienced at some international level where athletes and or coaches have abused alcohol whilst wearing, you know, being a representative of LSA and all of that kind of thing. And this is why it is extremely important to ensure that we safeguard our athletes around all of these after parties, around alcohol being made freely available. And unfortunately, you know, it happens more and more around the surf environment, where you've got your clubhouses that are selling alcohol, your athletes that are of drinking age are allowed to drink. And that sometimes causes problems when, especially on international tours, where, you know, you have athletes that are allowed to drink or of drinking age within South Africa. And if they go overseas, they also might meet the drinking age there. But then they are there with athletes that are underage. And they have signed a code of conduct to say that they may not drink. But yet those athletes will still come to the manager or to the coach and say, is it okay? Can we drink? And we've got to be firm on that. The answer is no. When we are, especially on an international tour or a provincial tour or at nationals or anywhere like that, we are representing LSA, we are representing our districts, our provinces and our clubs. And for me, the whole issue around the free availability of alcohol to our athletes and even for our coaches, you know, to be drinking and some of them are getting drunk around our athletes. For me, that's just, it's just not on. And I hope that you know, you'll start taking seriously this whole issue around alcohol at competitions. There might be a few of you within this group here that will go on international tours eventually. And it really, really is a big issue for some of our tours that we take over. So I'm glad that Valencia stressed that point as well, but certainly from a high performance perspective, I'd like us just to take or just to reconsider the actions of us as coaches and our older athletes and the impact that then has on our younger athletes when alcohol becomes so freely available at competitions. Thanks.
Another important issue is the fraternization that takes place between between the management and athletes and that, you need to be very, very, very careful of that. Is there any
Apologies,
questions? Is there any questions?
KB.
Okay. Okay, just one or two of you, are we going to watch the video first?
Yeah,
Heather?
we can. Yeah. I'll
Watch the
put it on
video.
now.
Every coach needs to establish a philosophy on coaching. If you like, the coach needs to understand why it is that they coach. To help you come to terms and help to understand your own coaching philosophy, I like to use the concept of the 3 whys, WHYS, the 3 whys. Because when I'll ask a coach, why do you coach? Quite often the coach will respond, because I love kids, or because I love soccer, or because I love doing what I do. That's not enough. You really need to dig in a little deeper and challenge yourself and ask why again. Why is it you coach? Is it because you want to change lives? Is it because you're really passionate about helping people achieve their potential? Even dig further. Why do I coach? What is it about coaching that I find so special, so compelling? What makes me so passionate about coaching? And understand the motive behind why it is you do what you do. Now, coaches will say when we go down this path of trying to understand coaching philosophy, I think, well, it's a bit of a waste of time. I really just want to talk about heart rates and lactates and oxygen dynamics and training programs. But this is the key to coaching, is understanding what it is you do and why you do it. What is your coaching philosophy? Because understanding that will underpin every coaching decision that you make. If your coaching philosophy, for example, is all about helping athletes to realise their mental and emotional potential, well, that will then guide things like your training program design, the culture around your team, and the way you communicate with and engage athletes. If you believe
We seem to have lost the sound.
Yeah.
coaching, understanding why you coach and creating a coaching philosophy is the most important step a coach can take, and will underpin the understanding of the rest of the concepts and principles that we're about to discover in this series.
Okay. Okay, this is one of your first assignments is what is your definition of coaching on that? So with the coaching philosophy on that, the most important thing, there are like 7 points that came out of that video on that. 1 is to develop the athlete. 2 is to understand and know the level that your athlete wants to achieve. Not all athletes want national colors. A lot of athletes just want to do it to be healthy and fit and just for the fun and to be with their friends. But a bit of advice I'm going to give you, no matter what level the athlete is at, you treat them all the same. And you treat them with respect. So you don't favor one athlete above another athlete, especially on a club level, because it just causes unpleasantness. You must also understand that motivation must come from the athlete and not just not from you. It must come from the athlete. Okay? I'm going to give you a chance to say what you think the definition of a coach is. If you can just type it in or just unmute yourself and just share what you think. Is there anybody?
Yes.
Denver, what do you say? What is your definition of coaching?
Well, I'll take it away. It's fine. From my perspective, I think. Sorry, there go the dogs. I'll get back to you.
It's basically to see, I mean, how the kids, I mean, how they really prospect, and also see how they perform over time. And especially when you sometimes train those kids for years, like 2 or 3 years, and you can see from when you started with them and where they come from. And that's usually a huge satisfaction for a coach to see that. And it's always nice to know how well they've done over time, you know. So it's achievement. I mean, it's not an achievement. It's good for a coach to see it as well, and how they developed and how far they've come.
So what's your definition of a coach?
It's somebody there to assist them and guide them and basically try and help them to achieve what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from my perspective, it is to see the development or aid the development of the children and be positive influence on them. I mean, that was the biggest thing. And I can see that through our kids, where they're just scared of the waves and they don't want to do anything, and they don't get their swim times at under 9, and they don't get their swim times at under 10, and they just persevere. And you just nurture them through that, and you help them grow. And all of a sudden at under 11, they qualify for their swim time, and next minute under 14, they're winning SA Champ medals, you know, and that's like the biggest thing for me. When they come from nothing and they just, you know, help them develop and aid through that process.
Yeah. We've got some answers from Michelle Davey. She says, as a Nipper coach, I want to develop and build the love of the sport, competition, and goal setting. And we've also got something from Chantel Smith. Her definition is to be a mentor and to assist in a child's development and help them reach their full potential. That's a very good one. Mark says, I see a coach as someone who helps children to learn skills, have fun while doing it, someone that helps them gain confidence in themselves and teaches themselves to push boundaries. Russell says, the person that assists them to reach their goals in sport and help them through the challenges and reach beyond what they thought was possible. Okay, Jade says a coach is someone who builds, encourages, and teaches others within a specific skill set or activity to help a person reach their goals. It's a very good one on that. Okay, so you yourself are going to, this is one of your first assignments, is to actually give a definition of, let me just see what it says there. Okay. What have we done? Okay, Heather, can we go on? Okay. Okay, yeah, you will see Heather's now opening up. It says, what is coaching? Okay, coaching is a process which enables learning and development to occur and thus performance to improve. A coach assists with the development of a skill. On that. All clubs are required to have accredited coaches to train and assist in the development of members who have an interest in the sport. Why do you think all clubs must have this? Someone answer?
Why clubs are meant to have accredited coaches?
Yeah.
Well, I think without accredited coaches, there's no one to sort of to guide any of the participants,
Yes.
and to ensure sort of safe functioning of the club as well. I think if you have competitors out in the water that don't have the confidence that they need, they're a danger to themselves and others, right?
Yeah. It's also to safeguard the athlete on that. Okay. Now we're going to go on to the roles and responsibilities of the level 2 coach. Okay. And here's some of the roles: is to conduct and support the organization of a training session on that. Have a foundational knowledge of exercise training principles. To implement several ways of performing a task or a skill to suit the individual athlete. This is also quite important because one athlete will differ from another athlete. One athlete will learn a skill quicker than the other athlete. You might have to adjust the skill or explain in a different way that the athlete can actually understand what you want from them. And that's quite important, okay? And also to demonstrate ways to perform a task or a skill. That's just what we've spoken about. Okay, and then also the role of a coach is also to observe, enhance the performance and development of an athlete. And that, to support the team players and members, that is such an important thing, and that you support each member that you coach, and if you've got a team, to support them as well. You assist in empowering the athlete to perform optimally, okay? Be able to work with the club region to recruit new members and build a program, to abide by the coach's code of conduct. Cannot emphasize this more and more and more. To me, everybody needs to go back and read that every now and again, and to see, am I abiding by it? Okay, and this is also a very important one, to ensure the athlete's safety at all times. Okay, we're just going to watch another video. There's no sound either.
Coaching philosophy is engaging the athlete, so it's all well and good to be able to
Is there
set a
sound?
program.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The
Thank
program, but it's about trying to engage the athlete so you can get the best potential out of each individual. So that's working out what makes that individual tick. But of course, it's not. I'm certainly not one of those coaches that pushes my athlete in that if they don't get out of bed, well, I'm not going to say, ring them up and say, why weren't you here? The motivation, I want that to come from the individual. One of the analogies I use is that I tell my athletes that they're in the bus driving. They've got it's the foot on the accelerator, and I'm in the passenger seat with the map, guiding them the best way. So when I need to push them, yes, I'll push them. But when I need to back them off, I'll also back them off and then direct them the most efficient way there. Efficiency and quality is the name of the game. It's not about just more. It's good balance, engaging the athletes and providing that efficiency and quality.
My own coaching philosophy has probably changed a little bit over my 10 years of teaching and coaching experience. And I think every PE teacher would be lying if they said they didn't want to someday have an Olympic gold medalist appear on the TV and remember them and name them and say they were their greatest motivation. I think for me, that's not the priority though. The priority for me is to gain as much enthusiasm from as many children as I can about being active. If I can have 100,000 children taking part and never receiving a gold medal. That for me is something that, you know, if they're established in lifelong participation, that's equivalent to a gold medal for me. This is about, you know, children finding self-esteem, high levels of confidence so they can take these skills out into their adulthood and establish, as I say, an active lifestyle for years to come.
My philosophy, I guess, aligns with things that I've previously discussed, which is that sport is about enjoyment principally, and therefore everything that I work towards with enjoyment in the sport is the most important area. What I'm also looking to do is obviously allow the athlete to choose the level that they want to participate at and try and achieve to the highest level that they desire. It's important that as a coach, you also display, I guess, the correct attitude and are a good role model for the athletes so that they will follow in the same field.
I know when I was younger, I always wanted to be a teacher, and even though I didn't end up doing an education degree, I ended up doing a business degree. It's always stayed with me. And when I finished, before I even finished my athlete career, I'd already done a coaching course so that I already had the qualification to start coaching when I finished what I was doing as an athlete. I really do love, I've loved cycling from the moment that I started with it. When I was 15 years old, through a talent identification program, I didn't even know what a road bike was and what cycling was about. And my world has just been opened up to allow me to achieve my life dreams, and to the simple act of riding a bike is just so powerful on so many levels. So for me to be able to share that with other people, whether it's in the social arena, whether it's in the competitive arena, I love being able to see people enjoy themselves and get the most out of themselves and enjoy themselves. And with cycling, there's such a social element involved with it as well. So for young kids, there's a lot of teamwork involved. It really helps them to feel like they're in control of something. You really give them the opportunity to be responsible. And communication is such a vital element when you're out on the bike, not only on the road as a training, when you're training, but also when we're racing, you need to be able to communicate so that you can work effectively as a team.
Okay, the qualities and skills that you require, and that. I'm going to give you a few of them. Okay, the qualities. Okay, first of all, the most important one is you have to be a good communicator. Okay. You have to have a vision. You need to share that vision with your athletes, with the parents, with the committee and things like that. You have to have a vision. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to coach and you've got no vision on that. You have to have a vision. You have to be dependable. Okay? You have to be someone that they can depend on. Okay? And that people can count on you and that they can count on your program and that. Okay? One very important one is you have to be loyal. Not only to your club, but to other coaches. And you also have to be loyal to your vision, even when things are going a bit pear-shaped and that, or you think, oh no, maybe I must change my vision. Don't do that. Stick to the vision that you have until you've reached that goal in that vision, okay? And also you have to be loyal to your athletes. You can't, if an athlete has had a bad race or that, and just put him down and say, yeah, it's because you didn't train or you didn't do this or you should have done this. Or look at the positive aspects of what has taken place in that race. And that through being a good communicator and through being loyal, especially to the athlete, it builds trust. It builds trust between you and the athlete. It shows the athlete that they can come and sit down and talk to you. Okay? You need to become an encourager. Believe in your athletes. And then, no matter if that little one comes stone last, you still believe in him. And let him, and in turn, if you believe in him, he'll start believing in himself. And then, and another thing is, become a great teacher. Become a great teacher. In other words, go back to the basic fundamentals of coaching. Okay, are there any other qualities that you can think of?
Actually, yes. I think if you guys can hear me now, I'll kind of link my cell phone to the laptop. I think the most important of them all actually is attitude.
Yes.
Attitude, I think, to me covers pretty much everything. You know, as a coach, you want to be punctual, you want to be prepared, you want to be compassionate, you want to be encouraging, and all of those skills are actually all stemming from your attitude.
That's correct. Okay, that's the qualities. Can you name some of the skills?
Myself, yes, absolutely. Communication,
Yeah.
professionalism, that is a skill,
Yeah.
as well as obviously having an understanding of the skills that you're teaching themselves and being able to break them down into their small little steps to help your athletes achieve them step by step.
Yeah.
But for me, again, it's professionalism, it's your appearance, it's your behavior. Those are all skills which are required.
Yeah.
Together with your presentation, your ability to communicate what you want your athletes to achieve, what you want them to learn, how to do the particular skills. So there's a huge variety actually, but again, they all come down to attitude.
Yeah. Okay, so this is your assignment. It's another assignment that you have to do. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to go. Okay. The effective level 2 coach of children and young adolescents will be to recognize the motivation behind a child or an athlete's involvement in the sport, and also to respect that involvement, to make children or athletes feel comfortable and happy with the practice session and in the games and that, or the competition. Your aim is to improve the quality of the experience of each child or athlete. Okay? To be concerned about relationships formed with each child and between children as well. Okay, when we speak about children, it's athletes and that. Okay, to provide children with accurate technical information. To be able to relate to all groups involved in the sport. That's the parents, the officials, the visiting teams, and other coaches. It's important to actually build relationships with these people that we've just mentioned and that. Be aware that there are many styles of teaching, coaching, and that children respond in diverse ways to different styles and methods. Remember, each person is unique, and that you might get a bright child that catches on quickly. You might get a child with a learning disability, and you need to deal with that very patiently, but not embarrass the child. Okay, we need to appreciate that children and young adolescents have the differing ability levels and organize appropriate skill practices to cater for all levels. So we have to, you can have a generic practice session, but you must also understand that you need to adjust it. Okay. Okay, we're going to go to the historical context of Modular 1.
Sorry, can I just come in?
Yeah.
We've been sitting for probably around 50 minutes now. Can I suggest that we have a 5-minute break,
No
just for
problem.
everybody just to get up off their chairs, move their eyes away from the screen, go and get, maybe something to drink or whatever. And then if we could start in, let's say at 3:05, sorry. So that's like 8 minutes from now. And then we'll start with module 1, if that's okay with everyone. Just have a little bit of a break now. Thank you.
Okay. Who's doing? Martina's doing most of it. Okay.
Okay, V, I think it is now 3:05, so we can start with the next module. Those that are still out can just join us when they can.
All right. Do you want to open it up? Okay. I'm going to give you Life Saving South Africa's vision because I think it's very important. We're now going to do the historical background to Life Saving South Africa. As I think most of you know that Life Saving South Africa is actually over 100 years old on that. This is their vision. Life Saving South Africa's vision is to be recognized as the world's leading water safety organization, which is accessible to all communities, and to be at the forefront in the development of aquatic skills. And these skills are measured by competition, dynamic leadership, and markability. Then the mission statement of Life Saving South Africa. Life Saving South Africa is the acknowledged National Aquatic Safety Authority, being a service and supporting organization committed to providing lifeguarding services and the development of aquatic skills to all communities of South Africa. Okay, Life Saving South Africa is a member of SASCOC. It's also a member of the National Department of Sports and Recreation and a member of the International Life Saving Society, as well as the Royal Life Saving Society. Okay, what is our core business? Can anybody tell me what is the core business of Life Saving South Africa?
Swimming.
No.
It's swimming. Save lives.
It's life saving. It's a voluntary lifeguard program.
Yes, it's voluntary lifeguarding and that. Okay.
Serve and protect.
Okay, we're not, I'll go on. Life Saving, okay, we have around 5,500 members who perform voluntary lifeguard duties, and we operate at 62 coastal surf clubs, and we have some 56 inland clubs across South Africa. We do approximately 92,340 rescues in a year, okay, and 3,128 first aid cases that needs to be tended to. Life Saving South Africa trains over 2,000 lifeguards a year on that, and has reached over 400 communities okay, through their water safety education programs, okay, and they've made a phenomenal contribution to ensure that our popular bathing coastline is a drown-free zone, and that, okay. The indirect impact is that beaches remain safe havens, especially for our tourists and for 90% of our previously disadvantaged individuals, okay? The lifeguards are also able to secure employment in municipalities and resorts and tourism and hospitality industries, okay? And then there's the reference. You can just check the reference. Okay, I'm not going to go in and tell you about the training and the qualifications and that, because as coaches you should know that. Okay, one thing it does do, Lifesaving makes a massive contribution towards tourism development, and we are represented on the International Blue Flag Jury in South Africa, which awards blue flag beach statuses in our country. Okay, Lifesaving's true value is in the expression Letsima. It means spirit of volunteering, and that is what we really do as lifesavers and as lifeguards and as coaches, and that we volunteer. Very few of us receive any remuneration for it. All right. Okay. Okay. Your quiz, you need to. Okay. You need to go through all this. This is also part of your assignments, and you need to submit it. Okay. Okay. Okay, we're just going to go through the organogram of Lifesaving South Africa. We all know we've got a national council, and that consists of the regional chairmen, and then we have our LSA president, who is also a chairman. Then we've got our management board, and the president is the chairman of that. Then we've got our different directors. We've got the director of the advisory board Lifesaving, director of advisory board drowning and prevention, director of advisory board sport, and these have different committees under them, like the advisory board for Lifesaving, the advisory board for prevention and drowning, and the advisory board for sport. Then on a regional level, okay, you have the regional chairman, the regional executive that consists of your secretary, your treasurer, and your vice chairman. Then you have your club chairmen, who also form part of the regional level, and your club executives. And then you have your club members and nippers. Okay. Then at high performance level, you've got your director of sport, who's Craig van Rooyen. Then you've got your medical and research committee. You've got your high performance manager, which is, I'm actually going to say it, Dr. Heather Morris-Eiton. She has a doctorate in sports science. Then you've got your convener of selectors committee, and Grant is the convener of that. Now, yeah, you have a surf lot of selectors and a freshwater lot of selectors, and they come together to select the rescue team. Otherwise, surf selects their surf competition, and pool selects their pool. Then you've got your national management and athlete support group. Then you've got your high performance manager, who's Lynette van Rensburg. Then you've got your high performance surf manager, who's Dean Murray. Then you've got your national, sorry, I can't read this so clearly. You've got your national beach manager, Your coach education is Heather. She actually writes all the coach education stuff for us. Then you've got your National Coaches Commission, which we'll be working on. I'm not going to go through the rest. The rest you can all go through. And that, if there's any questions, you can just type or send us a thing. Okay. Okay, the roles and responsibilities. Okay. Okay, the roles and the responsibilities of provincial clubs and regional officials. Okay, Life Saving Sport offers various opportunities to those involved with the sport, including a pathway from managing age groups, coaching, officiating, team managers, sports administrators, and athlete development. Okay, the role of the club is to provide access to life saving as a sport and as a community service, to guarantee that members are correctly qualified, to provide information regarding all competitions, and to make sure that all have identifiable kit, to ensure that the operational side of the sport is correctly managed. Now, over here, the coach forms quite an important part of this management in the club, okay? Successful clubs have found that it is important to present a varied program to ensure retention of motivated athletes. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to go to the role and responsibilities of the competition officer. Okay. The competition officer's role is all activities have to be correctly assigned to relevant age groups. Okay. And then the competition officer's responsibility is to have an effective knowledge of life-saving discipline. They will be coaching, including the rules of the competition. That is so important because the competition officer takes all the flack during the competition. Okay, the competition officer shall ensure complete safety. Must be a good communicator, must be able to motivate athletes and be fair, and must have a lot of patience. Okay, Heather, scroll up. Okay, the competition officer's role will liaise with the club personnel regarding safety support during all competition events. Okay, have dedication, enthusiasm, maturity, and ethics. Have good organizational skills, have a good knowledge of training principles, be able to effectively run training sessions, be able to work with the club region to recruit new members and build a program. Okay, we all know that the minimum age of our competition is 8 years, and that's the maximum age for the NIPA events is 13 years. Okay, and our to determine our age groups, okay, it's determined by a common birth date. It's calculated as at midnight the 30th of September, and the age at that date in the season shall determine the age for events and sessions. And I think we need to maybe look at this. Okay, our sports officials. Accredited sports officials are essential for the success of any event or competition. Without the sports officials, we don't have competition. Officials are required at all levels of competition. So no matter how big or how small a competition is, we need the officials. Okay, there are courses that are conducted regularly, and the details of these courses can be found on the LSA website. I'm going to encourage you as a coach to do the officials course. It just helps when it comes to rules and that. Okay, Heather, do you want to have a look at the quick quiz? Okay, this is also part of your assignment. It'll say match the rows. Okay, of like, is it pool, is it dam, is it surf, and that. So you've got to match like the equipment. Do you use it in like this, for instance, the rescue tube? Do you use it in surf only? Do you use it in pool? Do the nippers use it? Do the seniors use it? That's what you've got to answer on that. Okay, Heather. Okay, we're now going to go on to module 2. We're going to watch a video. Okay, let's do that.
There's no sound.
Either there's no sound.
Unfortunately, as human nature and circumstance demonstrate,
Is there no sound coming through on
We
this?
can hear now.
There was sound there.
There was sound. Okay.
we can't just rely solely on the good ethics of individuals to move the organization forward. An organization must act as a corporate body to lay down the rules and provide ethical expectations to everyone, despite the ethics of the individuals within the organization. Herein lies the importance of a code of conduct: unity, standards, and direction. Unity. A code of conduct provides unity as it definitively states that there are certain ethical behaviors that we, that is everyone within the organization, will adopt and abide by despite the ethical bent of any particular employee or group. Next, standards. A code of conduct takes the guesswork out of the equation, as each employee knows exactly what the ethical standards are, as well as the expectations of his or her coworkers. And finally, direction. In a forward-thinking organization, a code of conduct provides clear direction to people. It tells them where the organization is headed and what will guide it on the journey. A code of conduct is not just a set of rules. It's a document that conveys values and principles. It should not only give you, the employee, specific direction in uncertain situations, but should be a clear, unequivocal moral statement of an organization's values of right and wrong.
Okay. We went through all the coach code of conduct, and now we come to section 2. I quickly go through, but I will stop. The important part is where the parents are, but we quickly go through. You got first your code of conduct in the competition with LSA, promote and encourage fair play. And then you have all the things you have to look after. Then you have your technical officials. And that is very important. We already said that every coach should do a TO course, and even the managers, because they have to know all the rules and regulations to abide with. Otherwise, you come to a gala and they do something wrong, and that's not what we need to. Abide by the rules and spirit of the competition, be honest, stay strict, etc. Then the competitors abide with the rules, and also they have to be taught what are the rules and regulations. And there's the coach, the main person to teach them. Then you have your team managers, as I said, should do also a TO course. And establish the standards by setting a good example of sportsmanship at all time, and also respect the rights of other teams. And then we come to the very important part. I think each and every coach should talk to their parents, and that is the parents' code of conduct, because the parents are the kids have the right to swim because the parent gave the permission, but then they have to keep with the code of conduct. If children are to grow and develop in their sport or physical activity, an environment of positive communication and respect must exist. It must come from the coach, but it also must come from the parent. So they have to look at the code of conduct. The child must enjoy every moment. It must be encouraged. You must encourage the child to play by the rules. As young as they are, they can keep the rule. The coach must teach the child that doing one's best is as important as winning. So it's not to win, it is to compete, to be part of it. A child never loses. He only comes a certain place. The moment you say it loses, that's negative. The moment you say you are 8th or 10th, although it is the last, then it is positive. So I think that's very important. I will make my child feel like a winner every time by offering praise for competing. As long as you as parents can't do the same, you can't have comments. You only can say, well done. So that's important that a coach teach the parents that. I will never ridicule, I don't know how to say that, or yell at my child. Parents yelling at their child or punish them where in front of you, you can talk to them because that's not by the code of conduct. I will remember that children learn best by example. So if the parent is positive, the child will be positive. I will not force my child to participate in sports, especially with the nippers. Many times parents force their children. I will never question the official's judgment or honesty in public. Also very important to teach your parents. I will support all efforts to remove verbal abuse from children's sporting activities. I will respect. I think that is the main word. I will respect and show appreciation for the trained volunteer coaches who give their time to provide sport activities for my child. And that is the important part of the code of conduct. The coach is looking after the kids, but the parents must keep with the code of conduct. Thank you. Any questions?
No, looks good.
Understand that a code of conduct actually protects the coach, it protects the child, it protects the club, and it protects the parent. So it's actually a protection.
Please, here is also part of your assignment. In a short paragraph, discuss the implication of not having a coach's code of conduct. Discuss how you feel regarding having parents sign a code of conduct. People can differ, but tell us how you feel about it. Would you be able to implement club? Give a brief explanation. If you have parents' code of conduct in your club, explain how it is implemented. I think we all can learn from that. Thank you. So that is one of your assignments also. Okay, just want to drink something. As coaches, we also have start with nippers. Most of us start with nippers from the age of 8. And we all have to learn, teach them the little booklet we receive. So the rules and regulations are based on what we learn in the book. And we have to put that all in place. All levels of coaches should be all aware of it. Never swim alone, wherever you are. That stays the same with pool, dams, and beach. There is some difference between these three. With the next one, look for deep and shallow end. Look out for rocks, glass, or rusty fins. And in the beach, know the tides. Never run around the pool. You see, guys, this is normal practice. It's done every day. We all have to look at it, but you still have to teach them and you have to look after them. Never run around the pool, never jump into the water as it might be too shallow, and check for currents. Never push others into the pool because they might not be able to swim. Do not try to swim in a river that is fast flowing. Swim between the lifeguard flags. We will all pass the NIPPER exam after this. No glass allowed around the pool area. Cuts could occur if you do not see the glass. Keep away from boats as the injured propeller can cut or injure you. Check that there are no blue bottles. People, dangers in and around the water area is very important to look after. It happens very quickly if it is at a pool or at a dam or at a beach. So you always have to check before you start your coaching that your dangers are away, that it is clean and clear to start practicing. Never push others under the water. Wear a life jacket on a boat. Check notice boards for water safety. Protect your body from the sun. That's for everyone important, especially in South Africa, where we have a sun that burns us extremely. Okay, then we go to the general water safety. Also, the nippers learn from scratch on what to do if they are in difficulty in the water. You put your hand in the air and do not wave it around, as this could indicate that you are waving at a friend. Safety of athletes is evaluated in terms of fluid intake and protection from the elements. The fluid replacement and sun protection. It's very important that there's always water. Try to encourage the kids and the athletes to bring their own bottles with water, but you must always have some in stock so that you can give them water, because it's important with every practice they get dehydrated. Encourage them to drink before they go out in the sun. Ensure that the participants have adequate sun protection. And it doesn't matter from which race you are. The sun burns and you have to use sun protection. There we come to the nipper part again, slip, slop, and slap. Very important to show that we use that, and also for the nippers that you as coach use it as well. Okay, then you have something you can discuss now is how you would assist with the organizing of safety for the following equipment shown in the table below for a competition. We have certain things we use, and I'm just going to pick out some of them. The rescue tube that we use for everyone, so that is in the pool, dam, and the surf. What do we need to look at for the safety of the equipment? Any answers on that one?
So I'd imagine all the safety equipment needs to be inspected to make sure that it's working properly.
That's correct.
Okay, what would you look on a rescue tube? What would you check?
So on a rescue tube, obviously you'd need to make sure that the harness is attached correctly and securely, that the harness itself is functional, and that the tube itself isn't punctured or taking on water.
That's it. Let us jump to the next one. Mannequins, the Malibu water flags and batons. Mannequins, what do we need to look at that it's safe? Especially the freshwater people like Michelle, what can you say there?
Well, first off, with the mannequins, we don't want anything slippery on them. So we do stop the children from using any Vaseline or any gungy material that could create a mannequin to slip. You also don't want the mannequins to be broken. So anything sticking out of a mannequin, you know, like the plastic is broken, can also hurt the child when grabbing it. Obviously, you want the mannequins to have the bungs in, so they all weigh the same weight, they all in the same condition. For another thing is that you don't want a little 8-year-old practicing with a senior mannequin. So they're very age appropriate, and it's better to keep it that way.
Yeah. Okay, then we get the Malibu board. Anyone with open water or beach? Jade, can you help us there? Jade?
To make sure the Malibu board has got all 4 handles on, make sure it's not punctured or broken.
Make sure the bung's in.
Oh, sorry, can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay. Yes, so in terms of a Malibu board, we obviously want to make sure that it doesn't have holes or leaks that's going to take on water. We need to make sure that the fin is in. That would be a good start as well. Otherwise, it's not sturdy on the water. And we would also want to make sure that the handles are attached well so that you can use it through waves and through surf.
Correct.
And then the bun is in as well. Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
Well done.
And let
Also,
us go.
no visible cracks or leaks, because I've often picked up that some of our nippers jump in and unfortunately they find out at the back line that the Malibu is leaking.
Correct. And especially the surf and the upper waters, what about the beacons?
Can I just also say about the Malibu boards? Couldn't that be also for the weight for the board that can actually maintain the weight of a candidate? So each board is designed for up to a certain maximum.
That's correct. That's correct. That is especially also for the certain age groups that the child or the athlete fit on it. Correct.
And then, that includes the length of the boards as well.
Correct. Yes. And the beacons, can anyone make a remark on the beacons?
Are you talking about competitions or just training? So training, we just
both are important.
Okay. Yeah, mainly in training, we have bright orange beacons in training, and that's what we do. And we split them across, and we normally have a safety as well in the back line. Ones and tens, we have about 10 people in the water, just to make sure that nothing goes wrong,
Yeah. Okay. And ball throw, Sandra? What do we look at the ball throw?
Well, I first think the ball should be quite firmly pumped according to the dimensions on that set on the ball. That the rope would be secure without any frays on them, that the netting would be without any holes in it, and that the whole net ball rope would be correctly secured. And that I would also check that the length of a rope is adequate.
It's according. Okay, guys, go through this so that you are aware what to look at, that you know the rules and regulations, but also how to do it. Okay, thank you, Heather. We can now go on with the anti-doping.
Thanks, Martina. Are there any questions around the safety at all? I think it's pretty much self-explanatory. Okay, so we're going to go on to the anti-doping now, and this is quite an important part of this module. I know that a lot of you are nipper coaches, and you might find it a little bit strange as to why we've incorporated this and why you think, you know, at a nipper level, you should be aware of this. But it's for everybody. It's for our nipper coaches, and it's especially for our parents. You can, you know, download some of the apps that I'm going to go through, and make sure that the parents have the apps, that the athletes have the apps. Because once the athletes move from that nipper into the junior and senior levels, then there is always a possibility that they could get tested. You know, especially with some of the medications that some of the athletes are on, it's very important that we then apply for the relevant TUEs. I'll go through that in a minute. And just that everybody is extremely well versed with anti-doping. So the first thing that I'd like to just go through are some of the websites. The first one is the World Anti-Doping Agency. And they've got a lot of resources, you know, a lot of background information, and everything, you know, all of their events. They've got a lot of webinars that happen. So this is quite an important tool for you to have in your arsenal when it comes to the anti-doping. The other one is Drug-Free Sport. And this is something that all of you should have downloaded on your phones. They have got an app that you can download, but this is basically the South African Anti-Doping Agency, SAIDS. The nice thing about this is if you want them to come to your club to do a seminar or to do a little workshop on anti-doping, they will come and they do this. You can see here on the they'll do the anti-doping, they'll have a look at clean sport. They have a lot of materials that they usually bring with as well. And it's actually quite worthwhile for you to investigate having some of these things, some of these anti-doping officers just come and have a chat to your club. They're more than willing. You've just got to phone them up and organize for them. I know at a national level, before any national teams go out, I always have the anti-doping officers come in and have a chat to all of the athletes so that they understand, you know, what is the doping process, anti-doping process, what is the testing process, etc., etc. The other nice thing about this, and you can download the app, is the medication check. So how this works is you can put in any type of medication. So let's say we are on Benylin cough. This one, Benylin cough syrup. And there it will say, it comes up immediately. You have the dry cough, wet cough. It's got a green, which means that it's permitted and there are no warnings. Okay. The nice thing about this is that it's got all of the South African medication here. So anything that you can buy at Dis-Chem that your doctor will prescribe to you, doesn't matter what it is, you just type it in there and then it will give you these little color codes. So you'll have some green is that there's no warnings. If it comes up as red, it's prohibited at all times. If it's orange, it's only prohibited during competition. Purple, only in certain sports. And then the blue is prohibited in male athletes. So this is a very, very nice app to have. The other thing I just want to go.
Heather?
Yes?
Before you move off there.
Yeah.
Type in Ritalin. RITA.
Oh, sorry. RITALIN. There we go. It's yellow, so it's prohibited in competition. And those are the capsules. And the last update was on the 7th of July. and this is the prohibited substance in it.
Okay, which means that everybody who takes Ritalin for school reasons needs to have a therapeutic use exemption.
The TUE, correct. When they, especially during competition. Yeah. Okay, so this is very, very important. Here's the prohibited list, the 2020. What WADA does is they update their list on the 1st of January of each year. And with each year, there are more and more medications or different kinds of substances that are on this list. And so if you go in here, you can have a look what the prohibited list is. There we go. It's effective from the 1st of January, etc., etc. And you can also just here's the app that you can download. All right. And then you can also just download all of the different things from WADA. So this website is extremely important as coaches. So I really do urge you to go into this app, go into Visit SAIDS, download the app onto your phone and double check the medication that your athletes are on. Please remember that if an athlete is found with a positive sample, okay, the investigation doesn't just stop with the athlete. It goes beyond the athlete. So they will then start to investigate the coach, the team manager, any of the support medical staff. It could be the doctor, the physio, the masseuse, any one of those that have been directly involved with that particular athlete. So you as the coach, you might not be aware that your athlete is on anything, but you could be directly implicated if that athlete comes back with a positive sample because you are the coach, all right, or you are the manager. So it is extremely important that you know your athlete, you know what medication they're on. If you're unsure about the medication, get onto SAIDS, type the medication in and see what color it comes up. And if it is red or if it's the orange where it's only prohibited in competition, you have to let your athlete know. They have to then let their doctor know as well. All right, so it is extremely, extremely important. Now, the whole thing around the TUE is your therapeutic. I'm just going to go back in here quickly. All right, so your TUE is your therapeutic usage exemption. Okay, so basically what this does is it exempts an athlete if they are on any medication that falls in that red or that orange zone, or in the blue or the purple zone, depending on the sport and etc., etc. However, it is not just a case of the doctor writing up a letter to SAIDS saying that, you know, this child has been on Ritalin, blah, 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 and sending it off to SAIDS. What SAIDS will do is they will send that back and say there's not enough information. There is a lot of substantive other medical information that is required for TUE to be granted. Asthmatic medication is the same thing. You've got to prove that it's either exercise induced or that they are true asthmatic. Why are they on that particular medication? Have they tried any of the other medication? What do the blood tests say? Have they had x-rays? It's insane the amount of information that SAIDS requires before a TUE is granted. Now, it also takes a lot of time. So, you know, you can't decide like 1 week before nationals that, oh my gosh, I've checked my athlete's medication and it's now come up in the orange or the red. Let me just get hold of the athlete's doctor, get them to write a little note and then send it off to SAIDS. It takes between 4 to 6 weeks for a TUE to be granted. And if there are any discrepancies or if there are any questions, they will come back to you. They will come back to the doctor. They will want more information. It is not something that they give out lightly. So in your planning, if you do know of any athletes that are on any medication and you have checked it and they do need to apply for a TUE, please make sure that you allow sufficient time for this process to take place. It's not just a couple of days or a week and then, you know, you can get the letter. So, you know, please just go back. You see here, why do you need to apply for a TUE in advance? It gives you all of the information here. So my suggestion is go and play around on the website, download, you know, the information. It's all there, and just spread the information around your club, with your athletes, with your fellow coaches, with your parents, with everybody, so that every single person in your club needs to know about anti-doping. It's not just for your senior athletes. Your juniors need to know about it as well. Some of your younger, your nippers may be on prohibited substances. And although they don't get tested, I think the awareness is there that should they move up into the senior levels and they do get tested, okay, then there is going to be an issue. And if we have a look at the supplement abuse that takes place on a regular basis in all of our sports federations, Craven Week Rugby, if you have a look at the stats there and see how many of those boys are on prohibited substances, the number is frightening. And what we are seeing now with because they choose certain competitions where they can go in and almost do like mass testing. And what they've seen is that there is a significant increase in the number of boys that are testing positive. And then the questions are going back, well, what are the parents giving them? What are the coaches giving them? What are the support staff giving them? And then they do the investigation. So it's not just a senior thing. Your junior and your nipper athletes, they also need to be aware, and especially the parents. The parents need to understand that whatever medication they are giving or that have been prescribed to their children by their doctors could actually be banned in competition, or could be on the banned list period for training and competition. So I really cannot stress the importance of understanding and knowing your athletes and having a very good idea about the medication that they're all on. And it takes you've got to be able to build that relationship with your athletes so that they are able to be honest with you, because sometimes athletes will lie, you know, are you on any supplementation? No. And then you find out they're on a whole heap of stuff that you are not aware of. With regards to supplements are not regulated in this country. There was a research study done a couple of years ago by one of the professors at University of Free State. And what he did was he went around all the local pharmacies, Dis-Chem and whatever in Bloemfontein. I think he went to about 20 stores and bought different products and went back and tested them. The SAID's laboratory did used to sit at the University of Free State until we lost our accreditation for a WADA laboratory a couple of years ago. But anyway, so what he found out of just the normal supplements that you can buy off the shelf, at least 70% of those supplements, if the athletes had been taking them, they would have come up with a positive result. And those are just supplements that you can go in and buy off the shelf at Dis-Chem, Clicks, wherever. So our supplement industry is not regulated. As a coach, my advice to you is that you do not give any advice around supplement taking, because the moment you give any advice, you can then become liable if that product or if your athlete tests positive because of the product that you decided to give advice on. Okay, so it's very, very important that we understand that as coaches, this is not our job. And if you think it is your job and your athletes come up with a test, with a positive test, all of that blame can be shifted back to you, and then you could get a ban as well, because they are now banning coaches, managers, support staff. It's not just the athletes that are serving bans anymore. So please just make yourself familiar with all of this stuff. And I just want to give you a quick example. I can't remember how many years ago, but with Chili Boy Ralapele, where him and I think it was Basson, when they got banned or they tested positive for a substance in the USN products. What they did was USN was the official sponsor for the Springbok team. 2 of those athletes tested positive, and they were able to trace that because they had the batch number, the lot number, and all of that kind of stuff. They were able to trace that particular batch that those 2 athletes had all the way back to a lab in the UK. And what happens with these supplements for pharmaceutical companies is that they don't just produce supplements. So what happens is they might have done, let's say, a line of medication that contained, let's say, testosterone. All right, I can't remember what the banned substance was, but let's say it's testosterone. So in the factory, they have got all of this, the ingredients and whatever for testosterone medication, and it goes on a conveyor belt, and eventually the end product are your tablets or whatever the case is. If those lines, those conveyor belts are not cleaned properly, traces of that banned substance is still found on the conveyor line, and then the next lot of supplementation that's taking place is the USN that gets onto the conveyor belt. The conveyor belt hasn't been cleaned properly, and all of that residue is now found in that product. And that's what happened with those 2 rugby guys. So, you know, if athletes are taking supplements and they do have a positive test, if they haven't kept the bottle or the tub or the whatever that supplement is coming in with the lot number and where they purchased it from, etc., there is absolutely no ways that that athlete can then go back and say, oh, it was the medication I was taking, because they don't have any evidence. And if they've got that evidence and they are able to trace it back, then the sentence may be lighter. But at the end of the day, and you'll see when you do your WADA certification, the athlete takes responsibility for whatever goes down their throat. It is their responsibility. So they need to make sure that everything is fine. And this is, you know, sometimes a little bit difficult, especially when you're dealing with your, maybe, your senior nippers, your juniors, all of those that that have their parents, you know, inadvertently going to go and buy stuff at Dis-Chem because they saw this person drinking it, or, you know, somebody at the gym said, oh no, you must take this supplement, or whatever the case is, and give them to their kids, comes up as a positive result. Now what? So the education that SAIDS does on a daily basis with federations is absolutely phenomenal. And my suggestion would be that, you know, within your club, just organize. You can do it very easily through the website. Organize for somebody to come in and just give a bit of a talk to your parents, and also to your athletes. Okay, so let's just go back here. Right, the next thing.
And SAIDS does that for free.
Questions?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's me. Just so that everybody is aware, SAIDS does the education classes for free. You don't have to pay for them. It's a free service they offer.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And they really are more than willing to come. So yeah, it's a great service that they do offer. The next one that I want to quickly just go through is what you will need to do is to complete your WADA anti-doping certification. And so I've given you the link for this, okay? So what you'll need to do is just register. You'll have a username and password. Now, Life Saving is not on one of the drop-down menus for WADA. The last group were having a little bit of a problem. Some of them found Life Saving, some of them didn't. So, you know, just choose swimming, or if there's canoeing or something that's, you know, related to life saving, just put that in. It doesn't matter what the federation is. It's just that they, you know, they just keep tabs of that you're a coach and that you are doing, you know, you belong to a federation. So you will register, and then I just quickly want to go through here. I've given you the step-by-step guide to access WADA, SAIDS. Okay, so everything is in there, drug-free sports, blah, blah, blah. And then this is what you need to follow in order to do your online Coach True certification through WADA. Okay, so it goes through, you know, how you register, given all the screenshots of all the different things that you will see, what you got to download, how you, you know, click onto the various tests, etc., blah, blah, blah. So it's all there for you. Just follow that document. I think there's about 6 or 8 modules that you will complete. It also goes through, I think there's quite a lot of videos and extra materials, etc., etc. And after each section, then there's just a quick quiz that you need to do. Okay. And then eventually what you do is you land up with a certificate that looks similar to this. Download it, and then you're just going to upload the certificate into your portfolio of evidence, which we spoke about on Monday. Okay. Are there any questions around? Sorry, let's just go back. Okay. So this is then, you just go in here, and then you're going to upload your WADA certificate, and that becomes part of your portfolio, which we spoke about right up here. Okay. Are there any questions with regards to the anti-doping specifically, or, you know, any other questions regarding the information that we shared today?
Okay, there's a question from Tracy. What if you already have your WADA coaches or Coach True certificate? Do you have to do it again?
No, Tracy, when did you do your certificate? Helen, if you can just...
Hi there. Sorry, I just had to unmute. I think we did it. I think when we did the level, we did it definitely when we did the level 1 coaches course.
Okay, that's fine. Then that means it's valid. I think it's valid for 3 years. So,
okay,
you know,
I'll check that.
No problem.
Thank you.
No worries. Any other questions? If any of you find any difficulties uploading or anything like that, or you can't access the quiz or anything, please just send me a mail. I do ask that you don't use my Gmail account. I'm extremely bad at looking at my Gmail. So if you don't mind, just use my work email, because then I will get back to you. So if there are any issues, then please just send me a mail, and then I'll try and sort it out. There were a few glitches that were totally all my fault from the last one. So I hope to have sorted them out, but if I haven't, then please just let me know, and then I'll do my best to make sure that everybody can upload and download and access all the materials that they need.
I just had one question really for the group quickly. That app for checking all the list of substances. I'm trying to search drug-free sport, but I don't see the app come up anywhere. Does anyone have any idea?
I'll tell you, it's drugfreesport.org.za.
Okay.
Chris, I just went through all my medication and I'm not allowed to compete. It's quite interesting. I'm a druggie. Yeah.
Sorry, if everyone could just ignore Gus, he's just trying to get out of the ransom run.
Go on, dude. Sorry.
For a very long time, Drug-Free Sport didn't test our masters. However, they notified us 2 years ago that they might just add masters into the pot. So if you know of masters, I mean, I take chronic medication. My husband takes chronic medication. So there's a lot of people who take chronic medication for certain issues. Just to let them maybe sit in on a presentation on the therapeutic use exemption and on the water issues, and that they actually do a therapeutic use exemption application just to cover themselves.
Yeah, just now quickly, right on the website while you were chatting, and it was quite interesting. I was quite surprised.
Yeah.
Guess we must remember that when we become masters.
No, when you become. I love it.
The other thing that I must just let you know is that when SAIDs decide that they are going to come and do any testing, so what Helen has to do is at the beginning of each year, she actually sends through our training and competition calendar through to them. So both at a national level and then also at the provincial level. And they will only let Helen know when they are coming, a couple of days before, or maybe even just on the day of the competition and say, hello, we're here. So what the organizing committee need to ensure is that, especially at nationals, that there is a place for the anti-doping officials to come in, that they've got the space that they need to do all the testing, etc., etc. And very often, Helen is the only person that knows that SAIDs has arrived at the event. So they don't tell anybody, they just arrive, and they then also decide which athletes they are going to do. It's usually a random sampling. They might look at all the gold medal winners, or, they might go as low as like 8th or 9th or whatever place. So they decide that. And Jade, I'm not sure if you were ever tested anywhere, but
yes, I was.
You want to just do you want to just explain the process to everyone from an athlete's perspective?
Yes. So just also to let you know, I did have a TUE, so it is something worth doing, and you should do it if you do have athletes who need it. I was a sport asthmatic. They don't warn you or tell you when you are going to get tested. They will normally just rock up or arrive at a time where you have told them you will be. So if you are a competitive athlete, you have to give them a list of your weekly calendar or diary, and they use that and they rely on that, and you have to be quite consistent to sticking to that. So they've come to my house before, they came to the gym where I did some training before, and then obviously at different competitions, if you were the unlucky one who got the random draw, then you were also tested at a competition. But they don't warn you, they just do sort of arrive, and then you have to do your sample. It's very professional, it's very step by step, and they don't touch your sample, they don't do anything to your sample. You are in charge and have to do all the steps yourself. Yeah, I think that's all I can really remember.
Thanks, Jade. Yeah, so as I said, the resources that are available both on WADA and on the SAIDS websites are very comprehensive. And you can download all of that and distribute amongst your parents, your athletes, club members, etc., etc. So it's a great resource for you to use going forward now into the season. Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from anyone?
Yeah, just are they actually looking to start testing the little nippers and all that kind of stuff? I mean, under 14s, etc., or has that not been done? No precedent set that at that level yet.
No, they have indicated that our nippers are pretty much off the radar at the moment. So they can change that at any time,
sure.
So they're free to do that. But at this point in time, their focus is not so much on your grassroots or your growing athlete, because there's a lot of things, a lot of factors that you have that come into play there. But definitely anybody from 15 and older, you are liable to be tested.
The other nice thing about the SAIDS website is that you can actually go and have a look at the list of athletes that have been, are currently serving bans or have been banned from the different sports. And it's actually quite surprising, you know, the names that pop up there. And the federations where it pops up.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, Lifesaving is not immune. We have had athletes test positive and we have had athletes banned.
Yeah. Okay, great. So it is now.
Sorry, just
Yes, sorry.
sorry, Heather. Just a quick one on topic for Gus and Chris. If you type in beer, it's a recommended substance for you older folk. And back totally off topic is in terms of the level 1 coach course. Obviously, some of us are doing this coaching level 2 on previous experience. And is there any content that is relevant or important for us to know for the level 2 course? And if you could share that with us.
Sorry, I didn't quite get your question.
So I said on topic, beer is a recommended substance for the older folk. But off topic was obviously some of us haven't done the level 1 coach course.
Yeah.
It's obviously based on previous experience. So is there any information or
no.
Anything that you'd like to share, or also recommend that you share with us that we need to?
Thanks for that question, Mark. No, so our level 1 coaches course is basically going to be for our brand new coaches. It will include a little bit of the information that we've got in this course, but we'll then go into a little bit more detail around, for example, how do you assist the coach? What role do you play assisting the coach? The whole the historical context, the organogram, all of that will be the same as in level 1. But there's definitely nothing that you would have missed from level 1 coming into this program at all.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Valencia and Martina, do you want to wrap up? I think we'll meet again next Saturday. Is that correct?
That's correct. Same time. Just want to thank everybody and thank you for being so patient with us. It's been a pleasure to present to you. Thanks, Heather, for the help, and Helen for assisting and making sure that we're able to do this.
Yeah, the recording of the of today's session will go onto the Lifesaving South Africa YouTube channel for people to see. Okay, so I will, once I've loaded it, I will send everybody the link, but it will definitely be on the LSA YouTube channel.
Okay. Also from my side, thanks to everyone.
Yeah, and thanks to Valencia and Martina, I understand that this has been a real big challenge for you, but you have certainly come through it 150,000% better than I think you thought you would. So congratulations to that. I'm very proud of you. And I'm also proud of everybody sitting here that's where, you know, Google Classroom and working on Zoom and all of that is not easy for some of us. And I acknowledge that. But I also applaud you for, you know, just taking the plunge and going for it. So thank you very much for doing that. Helen, thank you for organizing for us. So Helen will send out the link again for next Saturday. We'll meet at 2 o'clock again. I will send out the link on Saturday afternoon just as a reminder. And then I think that's all. Have a wonderful weekend and a great week next week. And thank you very much to everyone.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.